Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
You guys just met up with Portugal the Man, right, up for the tour?
We did. Yeah, we met up last night in Madison, but we didn't get to play the show because Ben, our singer, has got some kind of flu symptom.
You know what? It's going around, man, because I saw the Bravery last night, and Sam from the Bravery was suffering from swine flu also.
Oh.
So yeah, it's like I think it's something in the music world is going around this past couple of days. How's he doing today?
A little better. We're not sure if he's going to be able to play tonight or not.
Right.
Sort of trying to figure that out right now. So.
So you haven't played the show with Portugal the Man yet before, but have you guys hung out with him yet, or?
Yeah, we hung out with them a little bit last night. Them and this other band, Drug Rug.
Oh, cool.
They're cool. They're really cool guys. We had a good time last night. Just went down and saw the show.
All right, so I just got like a few questions about the record, touring, and just like some other stuff in between. Nothing too difficult. So to start off, the record finally came out on Tuesday, and it was pushed back from the original release date. Do you guys feel like any vindication now that it's finally out and the world can listen to it?
Yeah, I think we're pretty excited about that. At the same time, I think we all were pretty realistic about knowing that nobody had any idea who we were 6 months ago.
Right.
Really. And so, taking the time to get out and tour and get our name out there and do whatever we can to build the whole thing was kind of worth it, I think, in our eyes. And we also, like, last minute, about a month and a half ago, we switched the version of the song Learn to Lose that's on the record from a single version that we had recorded. We'd kind of done 2 parallel mixes when we were recording the record, and just decided sort of last minute that we really liked the original and not the one that we went with as a single in the UK.
Okay.
So that was kind of a interesting, lucky coincidence that we were able to go back to a studio and just fix that. And I think it made the record more coherent. The other version was just a little less us, a little more kind of over-the-top production. And the record is so from our basement, That's kind of the vibe it has. It's just dirty and simple and stripped down, and so we wanted to kind of keep that thread running throughout the record, whatever thread we could possibly come up.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because just by listening to the record, it does sound very I don't want to use the word homemade because that's not correct, but what it does sound is very stripped, which is very cool because there's something very funky about it also, which you're not going to get from a garage. So it just sounds like you guys are working with like amazing equipment, but at the same time being very simplistic with it. Was that like the philosophy going in with it?
I think it was just a matter of the way things worked out. It was just another kind of coincidence for us, which is that we could afford to have Pro Tools and like basically one microphone and one compressor.
Yeah.
And so it just forced us to do things in a really stripped back, really simplified kind of way. And when we look back on it after doing a lot of recording, it was like, yeah, this is exactly what we needed. We needed to really struggle for good sounds and then be only able to use just a few of them.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does.
Kind of, it really fed the sound for whatever reason in a kind of interesting way, but it was totally not even a choice, really. It was just like, this is kind of all we could do to make this sound as professional as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely residuates over it, because you listen to it, and Darren had sent me in advance, and because I was very stoked about finally getting the full length, because I had heard about you guys back in June. And I, for the longest time, I thought you guys were a British band, because like all the British magazines are talking, Enemy, Q, Uncut, they were all talking you guys and talking about you guys. And I'm saying to myself, wow, and they sound awesome, listening to the website, on the MySpace and all that. And I'm saying to myself, this is going to be the next big British band to come out of the UK, hands down. Only to find out you're from LA and going to Portland afterwards to really produce all this stuff. So now, with that misconception that I had, I mean, I can't really phrase that into a question, but starting off in LA and then heading up to Oregon, did the change of atmosphere really change you guys as a band, and then thus being able to change your sound almost?
I guess in some ways we've always kind of been this traveling kind kind of wandering band. Ben grew up in New York City.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's kind of why we have, I think, that sort of New York
dirty attitude to it. Love it.
Yeah. That's all Ben. You know, he writes all the words. He writes most of the songs. So that's his thing. But yeah, I think we put our sound together in California, but I'm not sure how much of it had to do with where we were or what the circumstances were. I guess we were playing at school. We were in college, and we wanted to do upbeat dance music because we saw all these parties that, you know, people just wanted to go crazy, and we thought, well, we could be the center of everyone going crazy if we figured out how to make the right kind of music, you know. So
right.
Yeah, we sort of developed it with that in mind, and then we lived in LA for a while after we graduated from school, and then we moved actually to Spokane in Washington and lived there for 8 months.
Wow.
And that's where we met our drummer and our guitar player. Totally random, sight unseen, never been to Spokane. Packed a van one day and just said, let's get the hell out of LA and figure it out. So
that's a total drastic move. I mean, I've never been to Washington State before, but I have been to LA, and to go from, you know, crazy beach metropolis to Spokane, Washington. So the change was just like, let's just do it. Let's get out of Dodge for a little while and see what we can make out of it.
Yeah, I guess it was more so what was motivating us at the time was just really wanting to put a band together. We had been a two-piece for like almost 4 years. We had just done it, done it, and even spent basically a year in LA outside of school, just playing like the Hollywood dive circuit, you know, going around playing 2-3 nights a week in Hollywood or in the LA area, and just realized basically, you know, that we need to focus on ourselves and that we need to figure out what was and what wasn't working. And one of the things that wasn't working for us is that we never felt like our live show is dependable.
Okay.
Something that we could bet on. You know, we could go into a room and say, okay, we're going to set up, and no matter who's here, what the energy is, what the night is, we're going to bring something special. We were always depending on, you know, the crowd to be enthusiastic about us, or the PA system to be really big because we were using drum machines, and all of it just got really limiting, basically, especially in the area of songwriting. So I think one thing that we did end up with was a real desire to write and record all kinds of different styles of music.
Right.
And we couldn't do that for years because we were thinking in terms of, well, how can we do this live? And there's only a bass and a keyboard and a drum machine. So kind of knocking down all those barriers and deciding that we were going to have a live drummer and a live guitar player, and now eventually we've got a live keyboard player as well, just allowed us to do things like Learn to Lose and Song Away and Put the Game Down and Preacher, and so many songs that are heavily band-oriented, even though they kind of adhere to the style that we originally crafted. It's just a lot more freeing. You know?
Right.
You can do a verse, you can do a chorus, you can do soul, you can do electronic, we can do rock and roll.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the history of the record, the long and crazy saga of how we ended up.
It's a pretty amazing story, actually. You know, the fact that it really is. I mean, just thinking about how much goes into you making your debut. You know, 'cause this is how you're introducing yourself to the world, and you want it to be nothing but perfect. And the fact that you fine-crafted and fine-tuned everything, what you achieved is definitely audible and definitely is on the album. So much applause to you guys. I'm clapping in the studio over here to you guys. I think you did a successful debut. It was very good.